The new iPhone 16e is Apple's cheapest iPhone, if you consider $599 to be cheap. In this video, I'll talk about the new features from the design, display, chip, and if it's worth buying. But first, let's start off with the unboxing. Okay, the iPhone 16e comes in your typical white box with a picture of the phone on the front. And fun fact, the amount of circles on wallpapers for the iPhone 16 lineup represents the amount of camera lenses each phone has on the back. The 16e has 1, 16 and Plus have 2, and the 16 Pro and Pro Max have 3. Inside the box you find the phone itself, which only comes in 2 colors this year, white or black. There's also a white braided USB-C cable and some paperwork. Since I'm in the US, it's eSIM only, so there's no SIM card tool. The 16e starts at $599 for 128 gigs and goes all the way up to $899 for 512. If you're interested in the iPhone 16e, I'll leave a link in the description box below. Alright, the iPhone 16e uses a similar formula as the phone it replaced, the iPhone SE. It has an old body, a new chip, but a higher price. It looks like the iPhone 14, but with a few changes. It still has that aluminum frame, but the back now has a matte finish with a single camera lens. Coming from the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it's a smaller phone, but it's actually quite nice to use since everything is reachable. And if you're wondering, I'll leave the dimensions on the screen. And for the weight, it's about 166 grams. On the left side, we have the volume buttons, and Apple replaced the mute switch with the action button. The side button is on the right side, and there's no camera control like the other iPhone 16 models. Along the bottom, you'll find the mic, USB-C port, and speaker. Also, RIP home button. So the front is now a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR display, or in other words, it's OLED. So whether you're watching a video or browsing through social media, you'll see those vibrant colors and true blacks. The only downsides are the refresh rate and max brightness. It's still 60Hz. A $600 phone in 2025 with a 60Hz display. The brightness can only reach up to 800 nits for SDR content and 1200 nits for HDR. It's fine indoors, but once you're outside, you'll have a hard time seeing the screen. I like larger displays, thin bezels, and 120Hz ProMotion, but the iPhone 16e is not targeted towards people like me. For a normal person doing everyday activities, this screen will be great. You also get Face ID in this notch, which I think is faster and more convenient than Touch ID. There's no dynamic island, but remember, the display on the old iPhone SE looked like this, forehead and chin. In terms of performance, the 16e has the same A18 chip found in the iPhone 16 models, except it's a bin version, meaning it only has a 4-core GPU, down from 5. I use the A18 Pro, and if I'm being honest, I can't tell the difference when doing normal things. But if I play a high demanding game, I do notice some lag. I tried Zenless Zone 0 at the highest settings, and the phone stuttered when there are lots of effects going on. But if I lower the settings just a little bit, gameplay was smoother. The 16e also comes with 8 gigs of RAM, which is great for multitasking, and Apple Intelligence in iOS 18. It's the same as the other iPhones, so you'll have home screen customizations, control center, new messages features, and more. I have a separate video all about iOS 18, so I'll leave it in the cards and link it down below. The A18 chip is overkill for most people, but this gives you headroom for when the phone is 4, 5, or even 6 years old. One area that really surprised me is battery life. I wasn't expecting Pro Max level battery, but it was pretty close. I got around 3 to 4 hours of use each day with about 50 to 60% battery remaining. But I did normal things like social media, watching videos, phone calls, maps, and gaming. The improved battery life is a combination of the A18 chip, a larger battery, and Apple's first modem, C1. Cellular speeds seem the same, but keep in mind there's no millimeter wave 5G. If you haven't heard, the iPhone 16e doesn't have MagSafe, which is a big loss for me. Let me get magnet paper, and you can see there's no ring of magnets on the back. And for comparison, here's the iPhone 12 Pro Max. MagSafe is something I use on a daily basis. The wireless charger at my desk, these power banks, and even a tripod stand or mount. The 16e will still charge wirelessly up to 7.5 watts, but you need to align the phone perfectly. Apple thinks most users will charge this phone overnight with the cable, so MagSafe shouldn't be an issue. Wired charging speeds are up to 30 watts, so about 50% battery in 30 minutes. You also won't have the U1 chip for precision finding. On the back, there's only a single 48 megapixel fusion camera. It uses a smaller sensor, and there's no optical image stabilization. The photos look fine as long as you give it enough light, but in lower light, you won't see that much detail. You won't get an ultra-wide or telephoto camera, but you can still zoom in 2x, which crops in from the 48 megapixel photo. Videos look fine too. You can record up to 4K 60, but it's not as detailed as the other iPhone 16 models. Overall, the camera is fine, but you may want to move up the iPhone 16 ladder if you want macro, cinematic mode, spatial photos and videos, or ProRAW and ProRes. If you're using an iPhone 11 or older, you'll be happy with the iPhone 16e, but that $600 price tag is going to be tough. A used or refurbished iPhone 15 Pro is a better buy. You get a nicer build, better display, great cameras, but minus 1 year of software updates. Let me know what you think about the iPhone 16e in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!